After 15 years with TechVantage, we're restructuring your position, Marjorie Thompson announced, her voice carrying a barely concealed note of satisfaction. She sat across from me in the small conference room, flanked by Denise from HR, both of them wearing carefully crafted expressions of corporate regret. The company is moving in a new direction, Denise added, sliding a manila folder across the table. Your contributions have been valuable, but we're consolidating the research division under the product development team. I nodded thoughtfully, accepting the folder without opening it. Inside would be the standard severance package: 2 weeks for every year of service, continued health coverage for 3 months, and a list of career counseling resources I would never use. I completely understand, I replied, my voice steady. These decisions are never easy. Relief flashed across their faces. They had clearly expected tears, protests, or anger. After all, I was a 55-year-old woman being pushed out of the tech industry, where youth was prized above experience. What they didn't know was that I had anticipated this moment for weeks, ever since a misdirected email thread had appeared in my inbox last month. We'd like you to clean out your desk by Friday, Marjorie continued, gaining confidence from my apparent acceptance. We'll need your key card, company laptop, and phone before you leave. Your team will be notified this afternoon. My team. 6 brilliant engineers I had personally recruited and mentored over the years. The same team that had helped me develop the distributed processing algorithm that now powered TechVantage's flagship product, AccountSphere, accounting software used by over 40% of Fortune 500 companies. Of course, I said, rising from my chair. Is there anything else? They exchanged glances, clearly thrown by my composure. Marjorie recovered first. That's all for now. Thank you for making this professional. As I walked back to my office, I passed the glass-walled conference room where the executive team was meeting. Through the transparent barrier, I could see CEO Victor Lawson gesturing animatedly at a PowerPoint presentation titled Q3 Revenue Projections. The same Victor Lawson who had taken credit for my algorithm at last year's industry conference, referring to me only as one of our research team members. I closed my office door and pulled out my personal phone, sending a single text message. It's happening. Friday is my last day. The response came immediately. Perfect timing. Contracts are ready. Dinner tonight to finalize details. I smiled as I looked at the calendar on my desk. Today was Wednesday. Friday I would leave TechVantage for the last time. And Monday would be fascinating. That evening, I met Gregory Sullivan at Meridian, an upscale restaurant far from TechVantage's headquarters. As the CEO of Precision Systems, TechVantage's largest competitor, Greg knew the value of discretion. He had reserved a private dining alcove in the back, shielded from curious eyes by elegant Japanese screens. They actually did it, Greg said, shaking his head after we ordered. I suspected they might, but to cut the very person who developed their core technology. Victor never understood what I actually created, I replied, sipping my water. He saw the implementation, the user interface, the marketing potential. But the underlying architecture, that was tech stuff to him. The irony was almost too perfect. 3 months earlier, I had discovered that the patent application for my distributed processing algorithm had never been filed by TechVantage's legal team. An oversight, they claimed. They assured me they'd handle it immediately, but something about their response seemed off. That prompted me to check the company's internal documentation. That's when I found it, a strategy memo outlining plans to claim the algorithm as company-developed technology. Without specific inventor attribution. They planned to push me out before securing the patent, knowing that intellectual property developed by employees typically belongs to the company. What TechVantage didn't know was that I had already been working on refinements to the algorithm on my own time, using my personal equipment. Those improvements, dramatically increasing processing efficiency by 43%, weren't covered by my employment agreement. I had quietly filed for a patent under my own name last month, fully documented with timestamps and development logs proving the work was done outside company time. The patent had been granted with remarkable speed, thanks to Greg's introduction to a top-tier IP attorney. All the paperwork is finalized, Greg said, sliding a folder across the table. As soon as you sign, Precision Systems officially acquires exclusive licensing rights to your patent. The press release goes out Monday morning, announcing you as our new Chief Innovation Officer. I reviewed the documents carefully, though I already knew the terms by heart: a 7-figure signing bonus, substantial equity in Precision Systems, and ongoing royalties from every product using my algorithm. What do you think Victor's face will look like when he realizes what's happened? Greg asked, unable to hide his satisfaction. I'm more concerned about my team, I admitted. They don't deserve to be caught in the fallout. Greg nodded. Already addressed. We have positions for all 6 of them, senior roles, significant raises. I signed the final page and closed the folder in one elegant motion. To new beginnings, Greg said, raising his glass. And to owning your value, I replied, clinking my glass against his. Thursday and Friday passed in a blur of exit interviews, knowledge transfer meetings, and carefully managed goodbyes. I maintained my professional composure throughout, even as rumors spread through the company. I documented everything meticulous. Every project, every process, every password. Not out of kindness, but as evidence. Evidence that I had acted in good faith, while the company had not. During my final exit interview, Denise from HR pushed a non-disclosure agreement across the table. You understand that any intellectual property developed during your employment remains the property of TechVantage. Of course, I replied pleasantly. Anything developed within the scope of my employment, using company resources during company time. She didn't notice the emphasis. As I packed my personal items, Marjorie stopped by my office. These restructuring decisions are never personal, she said. Victor feels the company needs to move in a more youthful direction. I understand completely, I replied. Business is business. As I walked out of TechVantage's glass headquarters for the final time, I looked back at the building where I had spent 15 years of my career. On the top floor, the executive conference room was lit for an evening meeting. Little did they know that in less than 72 hours, that same room would host an emergency crisis meeting. Monday morning, the press release went live. Precision Systems acquires exclusive rights to revolutionary processing algorithm, welcomes creator Dr. Jennings as Chief Innovation Officer. By noon, TechVantage's stock had dropped 7%. Precision Systems had surged 12%. At 10:45 a.m., I received an email from Victor. Kira, there appears to be a misunderstanding. Please call me. I forwarded it to legal. By Friday, TechVantage was in full crisis mode. And 10 days after my dismissal, Victor Lawson stepped down. The lesson was simple. Never mistake experience for expendability.